My aunt accidentally sent me a video of my family calling me a pathetic failure, while I was paying their bills. I stayed quiet. Until it was time to pay again. Hey, I'm Emma. So, up until a few nights ago, I thought my family had my back. It all kicked off with a simple notification. My aunt sent me a video. I was in the kitchen making dinner when my phone buzzed. I dried my hands, picked up my phone, and absent-mindedly tapped the message. Initially, I figured it was just some random family clip or an old video she thought was funny. But then I heard my mom's voice saying, "Emma should be grateful, she'd be nothing without us." My stomach sank. The video was all shaky, like someone accidentally hit record and left the phone there, but the voices were loud and clear. My dad chimed in with a laugh, calling me a pathetic failure, adding, "At least she's good for something, like paying our bills." More laughter. I clenched my phone. Then my aunt, yes, the same one who sent the video, added, "If Emma ever stops sending money, we just guilt her into it. She's too soft to say no." I was completely numb. They were talking about me, not some imaginary person or making jokes. I'd been helping them for years, paying rent, covering debts, sacrificing my own savings to make sure they didn't struggle like I did. And this is what they actually thought of me. I stood there frozen, my thumb hovering over the screen, and then suddenly, the video vanished. "This message has been unsent," it said. My aunt must have realized her mistake, freaked out, and deleted the video, hoping I hadn't seen it. I should have called her out, let them know I was onto them, but instead, I put my phone down and pretended I hadn't seen anything. That's when I decided not to react, not yet. I needed a plan. I sat there for what felt like forever, staring at my phone. Their words kept playing over and over in my head. Emma should be grateful, a pathetic failure, too soft to say no. I wanted to think it was all a big misunderstanding, maybe even a joke, but deep down, I knew better. They meant every word. And the worst part? They weren't wrong about one thing, I was too soft to say no. Countless times they'd guilted me into helping them. How many times had I put my life on hold for them? My dad's temporary financial issues had me covering rent for years. My brother's college tuition? He never even finished school. My mom's endless emergencies always popped up right when I got paid. And I did it all, no questions asked, because that's what family is supposed to do, right? For years, I convinced myself I was doing the right thing, thinking they appreciated me, loved me. But that video shattered every illusion I had left. Now, they thought they got away with it. My aunt probably sighed in relief, reassuring everyone, "Don't worry, Emma didn't see it." They thought I was still in the dark, but that was my advantage. I could have texted her right then, called her out, said I saw everything, but what good would that do? They'd just deny it, make excuses, twist it to make me feel guilty. No, if they thought I was still their naive, obedient ATM, I'd let them believe it for now. Because in a few days, the payment was due, and things were about to change. The next morning, I went about my usual routine, but everything felt different. The sun peeked through my curtains, my coffee brewed like always, but there was this new awareness like I was seeing my life from the outside. My phone buzzed, a message from my mom. "Morning, sweetie, just checking in, hope you're doing well." I stared at it. Too normal. She never texted just to check in, there was always a reason, always a hidden request. And sure enough, a few minutes later, "Oh, by the way, rent is due soon, can you send it by Friday?" There it was, the same cycle, the same pattern. But this time, I wasn't going to play along. I started typing my usual response, something like "of course" or "no problem," maybe even apologize for being slow to make sure they didn't feel inconvenienced. But not this time. I deleted it all and simply replied, "I can't this month." I stared at the message for a few seconds before hitting send. I put my phone down and waited. 1 minute, 2 minutes. Buzz. "What do you mean you can't?" I could practically see the frustration through the screen. I'd never been the type to just say no. So when I didn't text back right away, I took a sip of my coffee and let her sit in her confusion for a bit. Soon, my phone buzzed with more messages. My mom texted, "Emma, this is serious. We're counting on you. You know we don't have another option right now." Another buzz came through, this time from my aunt, "Hey sweetie, your mom is freaking out. Is everything okay?" I almost laughed. Everything okay? Sure, if you call years of funding their lives while they never once asked if I was okay. It was always about them, never about me. I took a deep breath, finally deciding to reply, "I have some unexpected expenses this month and can't send anything, sorry." Short and to the point. No apologies, no long explanations. And then, I waited. What happened next spoke volumes. The silence was deafening. For the first time in forever, I had said no, and they were baffled. I watched my phone, seeing those 3 little dots appear and disappear as my mom typed and retyped. I imagined her sitting there, fuming, trying to word the perfect guilt trip. Finally, she messaged back, "Emma, what do you mean unexpected expenses? What could be more important than your family?" Classic guilt trip move. But I didn't reply, just let the message hang in the ether. Less than a minute later, another text, "You know your brother can't cover rent. If he gets kicked out, that's on you." Ah, the brother card. And another one, "We raised you, Emma. We took care of you when you had nothing. Is this how you repay us?" I clenched my jaw. When I had nothing, they certainly didn't take care of me. I worked multiple jobs to put myself through school, to escape that house. As soon as I had any money, they latched onto me like leeches. My phone buzzed again. Auntie's turn. "Sweetheart, don't do this. We're family. Just send the rent, and everything will be fine." Fine for them, sure. I put my phone down, my heart racing. I needed a moment to breathe. I walked to the kitchen, poured a glass of water, and took a slow sip, staring at the clock. I could feel it, a change inside me. I'd always feared they'd cut me off if I stopped paying, that they'd turn their backs. But now, I realized the truth, they never loved me, only what I could give them. As soon as that stopped, they'd show their true colors. My phone buzzed again. This time, it was my dad. "I don't know what's gotten into you, but this is unacceptable. You're being selfish. This family needs you, and you're acting like some entitled brat. Grow up and do the right thing." There it was, the facade finally dropped. No more pretending. Just demands. I read the words, my heart pounding in my ears. Then another notification popped up, a voice message from my aunt. My hand shook as I hesitated, my thumb hovering over play. She usually sugar-coated things in text, but this felt different. Slowly, I pressed play. Her voice cut through, sharp and impatient. "Emma, what do you think you're doing? Your mom's losing it, your dad's furious, and honestly, you've always been a bit ungrateful. But this? This is beyond selfish. You have a good job, don't you? You make more than any of us. Meanwhile, your family is struggling. You're just going to turn your back on them? After all they did for you?" Her tone darkened as she added, "If you really want to be that kind of person, fine." I just listened in silence, the truth sinking in. "So, here's the deal, don't think for a second that they're going to forgive you, or that you can just crawl back when you suddenly realize how much you need them. Once you cross that line, it's game over." I listened to the message end in silence, the words settling in like a ton of bricks. My thumb hovered over the replay button, my ears were ringing, and my hands felt numb. Honestly, I should have been freaking out, trying to smooth things over, apologizing, whatever it took to fix it. But strangely enough, I felt calm, even liberated. She had just confirmed what I already knew deep down, they didn't actually love or respect me. To them, I was nothing more than an ATM, a money machine. And the moment I stopped shelling out cash, I became invisible. If that's how it was, maybe it was time I disappeared from their lives, too. Then my phone buzzed with a new text. It was from my mom. "Emma, last chance. Send the rent." I stared at that message for what seemed like forever. Then, without a second thought, I blocked her. I blocked my dad and my aunt, too. And just like that, I was finally free, or at least I thought I was. That was until the next morning when I heard a knock at my door. A chill ran down my spine. It was way too early for normal folks to be up, the sun was barely making an appearance over the horizon. I thought about ignoring it, hoping it was just a neighbor or maybe a package. But then there was another knock, louder and more insistent. Taking a deep breath, I steeled myself and went to the door. My fingers hesitated on the handle, my heart was pounding, and then I opened it. There he was, my brother. His face looked like a mix of anger and desperation, his clothes all wrinkled as if he hadn't slept, and his eyes were wild and bloodshot. "Are you serious, Emma?" he snapped, his voice sharp enough to cut. "What the hell is wrong with you?" I blinked, trying to stay calm. "Good morning to you too," I replied. He scoffed, running a hand through his already messy hair. "Don't do that," he said. "Don't act like this isn't a big deal. You blocked everyone. Mom's freaking out, Dad's losing it. Are you really just going to cut us off and pretend we don't exist?" I leaned against the door frame and crossed my arms, saying, "I don't know, Jason. Maybe I just got tired of being treated like a piggy bank." His jaw tightened. "Oh my God, not this again," he groaned. I let out a bitter laugh. "Jason, I've been paying your rent for years. I've covered your bills, your food, even your stupid gym membership. And the one time I say no, the one time I try to set a boundary, Mom calls me a selfish brat, Dad says I'm unacceptable, and you show up here like I committed a crime. He opened his mouth like he was going to argue, but nothing came out, so I kept going. And don't even try to pretend you care about me. I saw the video. His face went pale for a moment, and real fear flashed in his eyes. What video? He stammered. I smiled, but it wasn't a friendly one. You know exactly what video, I said. Jason shifted on his feet, glancing away, his hands balling into fists. Look, it wasn't serious, okay? We were just joking. You're being dramatic. My voice was quiet but sharp. Joking? I repeated. You all sat around laughing, calling me a pathetic failure, saying I should be grateful to have the chance to pay your bills. Do you know what it feels like to hear your own family talk about you like that, Jason? He exhaled harshly, rubbing his face. Emma, come on. No, I interrupted. You come on. You want money? Get a job. You want someone to take care of you? Look somewhere else, because I'm done. He just stood there, staring at me, and for a moment, I thought I saw something real, something raw, flicker across his face. But it was gone in a heartbeat. You don't mean that, he muttered. I held his gaze. Yes, I do. Silence stretched between us, and then his expression hardened, turning ugly. Fine, he spat. You want to be a selfish BTCH? Go ahead. But don't come crawling back when you realize you have no one left. And with that, he turned and walked away. I stood there, watching him go, my chest tight but my spine straight. He was wrong, I did have someone left, I had myself. But just as I closed the door, letting out a shaky breath, my phone buzzed again. It was another call from my mom. Her name flashing on the screen felt so familiar, yet this time I wasn't going to pick it up. I'd been at her mercy for too long, her demands, her guilt trips, the way she'd twisted my sense of responsibility to make me give up everything I had just to keep her and everyone else from falling apart. But not anymore. I flipped my phone face down and walked away, feeling like I'd finally hit my limit. I was so over being the family's money machine, the one keeping everyone afloat when they couldn't be bothered to manage their own lives. Always lying and twisting things, never once checking in on how I was doing or considering the toll it took on me to keep bailing them out. I'd been carrying everyone's load for years, my mom, my dad, my brothers, all of them acting like I owed them my life, like I was just paying back a debt for everything they gave up for me. But had anyone asked what I needed? Nope. So yeah, I decided it was time to reclaim control. The silence in my living room the next morning was deafening, the weight of my choice creeping in. Yet, not a single regret in sight, just confidence that I'd made the right call. Then the doorbell rang. I knew it was Jason, he had that pushy knock, even though he was the last person I wanted to see. As I opened the door, I kept my face calm. Emma, he started, his usual cocky vibe missing, replaced by almost a plea. You gotta listen to me. I stood there, arms crossed, blocking the way in. I don't need to hear a word from you, Jason. He blinked, caught off guard. No, you don't get it, he almost begged. Mom's freaking out, Dad's calling me, everyone's panicking since you cut us off. You can't leave us hanging like this. I leaned against the doorframe, a hint of amusement in my voice. Oh really? Did you think I'd keep paying your rent, your bills, and act like everything was cool? Nope, Jason, I'm done. I don't care how much you, Mom, or Dad complain, I'm not your personal ATM anymore. His eyes flashed with anger. You're acting like we've never done anything for you, that we're just leeching off you. I didn't flinch. Trust me, Jason, I know exactly what you've used me for, a non-stop cash flow. And guess what? I'm tired of it. Jason's face twisted as he spoke again. You can't just do this, you owe us, Emma. His words stung, but instead of breaking me, they just bolstered my resolve. Oh you? I've given you everything, paid your rent, your groceries, your bills, while you just sat back. And you want to talk about owing? His fists clenched, and he spat, you'll regret this. You'll regret cutting us off. I couldn't help but laugh. No, Jason, you'll regret it, because I'm not the one who needs you anymore. Without waiting for a reply, I shut the door in his face. It felt liberating, but I knew the saga wasn't over. That night, my phone buzzed again. A part of me didn't want to even look, but curiosity got the better of me. It was a message from Dad. We raised you, Emma. Don't think you can just walk away from all we've done for you. You're making a huge mistake. Come back, and we'll sort this out. I could almost hear the desperation through the screen. I paused, phone in hand. I could ignore it, block him even, but no, I had a better plan. They'd taken me for granted one too many times, and now it was time for them to pay. I walked over to my desk, opened my laptop, and prepared to send a message they'd never forget. Sitting there, fingers ready on the keys, I wasn't going to let them waltz back in like nothing happened. No way. I was tired of being their punching bag. Now, I was taking back control. I thought about all the times I'd bailed them out, all the money I'd sent when I was the one suffering. It was their turn to face reality. I drafted an email, compiling all the financial records, every payment, every transfer I'd made to cover for them. At the top, I wrote, "Here's a detailed summary of what I've done for you over the years. I'm no longer your lifeline or your ATM, and you can't guilt trip me anymore. Consider this goodbye." Hey, let me break it down for you. So Emma decided she was done with the whole family drama. She sent out a message saying, "Hey, you don't owe me anymore, but you do owe yourself a look at what I've sacrificed." I thought family was about support, not draining each other. She even threw in the receipts and all the bills she covered. Then, she jumped into the family group chat, where they used to keep her on edge with their constant demands and guilt trips. She read all those messages about how they needed her and how they guilted her into helping. For the first time in years, she replied. She basically told them, "You guys talk about what you've done for me, but let's not forget what I've given up for you. Newsflash, you didn't need me, you used me. This is my last message. Don't reach out again." After hitting send, the radio silence was surprisingly nice. She leaned back and let that decision sink in. No more calls, no more manipulative guilt trips, no more pretending they had any hold over her. She was free. But then Jason had to slide in with one last message. "You're making a mistake, Emma. Family sticks together." She just smiled, knowing he was trying to get to her, but it didn't work. She realized she didn't need them anymore. It wasn't some huge dramatic scene, but it felt so much better. She took control, and they never saw it coming. Nobody was going to hold power over her now. She turned off her phone, feeling a peace settle over her. She didn't have to play their games anymore or keep sacrificing for people who didn't appreciate her. It wasn't the kind of revenge she expected. It was quiet, deliberate, and so satisfying. She could finally breathe and live for herself. That was the sweetest victory. What a journey, right? Emma went through a lot, but in the end, she totally took charge. I respect how she didn't fall apart because of family drama, and instead of causing a scene, she just stepped away with class. Sometimes, taking back your life is the best revenge. But hey, not everyone would handle it like she did. Some might believe in fighting for family ties or giving second chances, while others would cheer her on for cutting ties. What do you think about Emma's choice? Was her subtle revenge satisfying or too harsh? Share your thoughts, I want to know what you think. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more crazy real-life stories happening around you.